केंद्रीय वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रही हैं इस बैंक को लेकर, सीधे आपको वही लिए चलते हैं.
Working together with the Reserve Bank on this matter. So let me assure people that the government has, together with the Reserve Bank, continuously monitoring this matter. And also, I'm sure the regulator RBI will be talking on many things which are specific to him as a regulator. But when I say that we have been together with RBI closely monitoring, the major milestones are something which all of you all probably already know, that since 2017 the Reserve Bank closely started monitoring and scrutinizing the Yes Bank, and noticed that the governance issues were of serious concern, that there was definitely weak compliance and the culture itself was of weak compliance. And then there were also wrong asset classifications together with risky credit decisions. Since RBI started getting clear indication on all these grounds, they clearly took some concrete steps which we have also been kept informed about. And as you all know, since 2004 when S Bank was founded, it has been under the same management from 2004, that after RBI scrutiny and identifying the culture of weak compliance, poor governance and very risky credit issuing habits, in September 2018 they clearly said that the leadership has to change. They did not allow the further continuation of the chief executive's term from after September 18. So these are specifically steps which the RBI has been taking with an intention of keeping the bank healthy and ensuring that where and as and when they found certain things, they would do a correction course. A new CEO was appointed in September 2018 as a result. Also, the cleaning up of the bank commenced from then. A lot more information started coming in, and the Reserve Bank also started looking at newer issues, newer challenges which were getting noticed as they started the scrutiny. And the promoter who was asked to let go his shares had asked for more time. RBI was not willing to give, and as a result, he had to be compelled to let go his shares too. In the meanwhile, investigative agencies also saw malpractices of some of their chairmen and of that order people, and that is why one of their top executives, CBI, came into picture and started taking action. He even resigned, maybe quoting some other reason, but then he resigned clearly after the action was initiated. And in March 2019, the new CEO who was appointed started intensively working together with RBI so that the health of the bank is restored. RBI did not stop at that. We were kept informed. A 1 crore of rupees fine was levied on this bank as early as March 2019. 2017, the intense scrutiny starts. 18, you clearly identify and don't allow the leadership to continue. 19, 1 crore of rupees was even levied as fine, and that is early 19, sometime March 2019. And then SEBI also starts the investigation from September 2019. And that allegation at that time, I don't know if there are many more which are getting added, but at that time it was on insider trading related matters. Then in May again, there was another set of fine imposed by Reserve Bank because of non-compliance related matters, and a former deputy governor of RBI was appointed onto the board of Yes Bank as a director. In June 19, again another set of fines were levied saying, no, it is not happening, you don't seem to be having a good compliance culture, here we go, another fine. A chief financial officer was also newly appointed. And it was only in September 19 that you had a complete giving away of the shares. I mean, stake was completely sold of the earlier promoter. All this while, there was also this promise being given saying we are getting more money from here, we are getting new equity here, somebody coming from Hong Kong is giving us money, and very genuinely attempts were made to get new equity infusion done into the bank. Genuinely a lot of attempts were made, but nothing materialized. Period after period, the RBI was also informing us that they've given them more time so that they can get fresh equity, fresh infusion of cash, so that the bank's health can be restored. And every time you had to give them the space and margin, because after all, if there is a genuine attempt being done, let them get it. But it didn't happen at all. As a result, it went on like that. And once in November 19, it was very clear that no longer there was hope for them to get any more money. And coincidentally, the chairman of the audit committee also resigned early January 2020. Things came to a serious pass. And that is when I think we intensely engaged, as we were continuing the engagement, a lot of other ideas with which we were talking with the RBI was talking with the management. I've asked the RBI now actually to go into assessing what actually has caused these difficulties for the Yes Bank. I've asked him to find out and assess as to where the problem, the causative problem lies. And also clearly identify the role played by various individuals in the problem, in creating the problem and not so comprehensively addressing the problem. And I've also asked the RBI to tell me about adequacy of the extant regulatory norms, also the supervisory norms, and if found inadequate, where and why. I have asked them for a report on this. And I've also asked the RBI to act so that the due process of law takes its course with a sense of urgency. Whilst the government, our government is completely committed to ensure that the depositor's interest is completely safeguarded, equally, I want the RBI to ensure that due process of law is set to roll with a sense of urgency so that we should find out as to who led to this problem, a problem of this size and magnitude in the Yes Bank. The steps, of course, which are taken by RBI as it is are several. I'll just narrate. Yesterday, on their request, we've given the clearance for bringing a moratorium onto the bank, which is for the next 30 days. The withdrawal limit has been capped. Supersession of the management, meaning the bank's board. Then an appointment of a administrator who happens to be a former chief finance officer of the State Bank of India. And then, even as we speak, they have put in a scheme for restructuring the bank. Already the RBI's website should be having it, and that scheme will be effected within the period of the moratorium, which means within 30 days we expect that scheme to fully come into play so that depositors are not troubled for too long. As it is, I understand they are putting through a rigorous pain when a moratorium comes into play, but RBI has assured me that the restructuring plan, which is up now in RBI's website, will come into play within the moratorium period, within 30 days that is, so that customers are not, or depositors are not going to be trouble. SBI has expressed a willingness to definitely invest in the Yes Bank. And the bank shall also invest in the equity of the reconstruction process, which is required, the equity which is required for the reconstruction process. In the administrator's place, when the restructuring happens, a new board will be brought to place. So the administrator does his job and he exits, and then a complete new board will be put in place. This is important. Deposits and liabilities will continue unaffected as before. I know there is this temporary capping, but we shall continue every deposit and the liability unaffected, which means it will be honored. Important again, employment and salary assured at least for 1 year. I've just given you some of the highlights of this scheme which the RBI has put up in its website. You're welcome to have a look at it. But if you very clearly look at the Yes Bank's problems, I would like to recollect the steps that I've been talking about. The bank was monitored very closely from 2017. The MD and CEO have been forced to leave as of September 18. RBI has appointed one of its former deputy governors onto the board of Yes Bank as a director. Then
तो 2017 से ही सरकार आरबीआई की ओर से नजर रख रही थी इस बैंक पर, और 2017 से ही सरकार को मंशा ठीक नजर नहीं आ रही थी। सितंबर 2018 में भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को फिर से दोबारा रिकंस्ट्रक्ट किया गया, उसके बाद भी पहल की गई। लेकिन सवाल यही है कि अगर आप 2017 से नजर रख रहे थे तो आज जो खाता धारक है उन्हें चिंता क्यों हो रही है? रिकंस्ट्रक्ट किया जाएगा फिर से पूरा बोर्ड, और तमाम ऐसे जो कदम है वो उठाए गए हैं, और आगे भी बैंक को एसबीआई के कुछ अधिकारी है वो मॉनिटर करते रहेंगे। इस तरीके के तमाम जो है पहलू बताए गए हैं वित्त मंत्री की ओर से, और ज्यादा जानकारी के लिए आरबीआई की वेबसाइट पर भी तमाम चीजें डाल दी गई हैं।